Hello, you are listening to Just Films and That. This is the podcast where we celebrate films we think deserve a little bit more love. Whether they're underrated or underseen, we're going to tackle them one film at a time. I'm the host, Josh Hallam. It is another guest episode this week as I sat down with the wonderful Ruth Husko. If you don't know Ruth, she's a writer, mainly known, I think, got a start on Twitter and social media and stuff like that, but is now doing a little bit of work all over the show, really, including a little bit of work for the BBC and things like that. Glad to see her doing very well. She's probably up there for me as one of the best social media, Twitter, Instagram accounts to follow. Do give her a follow. If you like your social media funnies, then she's well worth a follow. She also does a really good job in a really good line in sort of repeat jokes, which we touched on in the episode, and to the point where it actually winds people up, and you've got to appreciate that. But also, she champions a lot of other people as well, particularly on Instagram. She shares a lot of other people trying to make their way, making the funnies on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that, including myself at times and things like that. So it was really good to sit down with Ruth to talk to her about a film of her choosing, which is UHF, which is a Weird Al Yankovic film from 1989. Well, I'm joined by Ruth Husko. Ruth, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy and excited to be here. Thank you so much for asking me on. And a very brave decision because this is a podcast about films. And
It is a podcast about films.
as well, you know, Josh, I have only seen 4 films, and one of them was Hollow Man.
And I wanted you to do Hollow Man, but here we are. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. So
I should have done Hollow Man.
Well, we'll do Hollow Man. We'll do it. You can come back on another time. We'll do Hollow Man.
The Halloween one.
It could have been the Halloween one. We could have done, that was last week, but yeah, we could have done Hollow Man. It is great, Hollow Man. If you've not seen Hollow Man, we're not talking about Hollow Man, but Kevin Bacon is an invisible pervert. Basically, that's what it is.
You know what? They should have called it The Invisible Pervert.
The Invisible Pervert.
It'd be like a Carry On.
Just like skirts blowing up everywhere.
Gladio, it's The Invisible Pervert.
Oh, Invisible Pervert. That was more Alan Partridge. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so I know you're not much of a film person. So I want to ask you about that because you're probably the least film person or Filmy Wilmy Doodah person, whatever, however you want to call it, what we've had on the podcast. So if you're tuning in, we're talking about UHF, which is from 1989. So spoiler warnings if you've not seen it, but you have had more than 30 years to watch it. So Ruth, you've picked this one. So before we talk about the fact that you're not a film person, just tell the guys at home a little bit about what it's about and why did you pick it? Is it underrated? Is it underseen?
Okay, so UHF is kind of like a spoof 80s comedy, madcap sort of romp. It's got, Weird Al Yankovic wrote it and he's in it, so you can imagine it's pretty zany.
Yeah.
And he is a bit of a slacker who gets fired from his job, and then he gets a TV station given to him, and it's about how he sort of turns the TV station around. It's a huge success, but there's also, a rival channel, so there's a bit of jeopardy there. And it's wholesome and it's funny and it's weird and it's wacky.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's kind of, without giving too much away about the film. But I mean, that's it really. That
is it. Yeah.
that is it. I mean, when I hadn't watched this for years and I rewatched it before this, and I thought, well, there really isn't a lot to. But
no, so my sort of main take, I mean, I really enjoyed it. My main takeaway was this is like almost comedy in its purest form, which is like there's no character development, there's no exposition. It's like one step away from a sketch show, basically.
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the way that there's so many little parody sketches in it. It is like if you're going through TikTok or Reels.
It is, yeah. Or Vine, R.I.P.
Or Vine, yeah, exactly. They're so quick and snappy. And you're right, no character development. Like he's in the film, he splits up with his girlfriend, and then they get back together, and it's like there's no real like, why are they together? There's no explanation.
It's just, but it's not. It's almost all the better for it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's closer. If you've not seen it and you're looking for a comparison, it's like it's quite similar to like your Airplane or your Naked Gun or something like that.
Yeah.
In tone and things like that.
You ever seen Amazon Women on the Moon?
I've not seen it. I've heard of it.
it's like one of them that's just like a load of sketches sort of tied together with not really any plot.
Mm, mm.
So yeah,
So
exactly like Airplane, yeah, that sort of thing.
in terms of this, then, is it underrated? Is it underseen? Is it both?
I feel like it's underseen and underrated, even though
That's
I was
fair enough.
because I remember seeing it when I was little, and I watched this film so many times, and when I was like rewatching it, I thought, oh yeah, I pretty much remember every sort of little catchphrase from it, and everything was just coming back to me. So, but I didn't know anybody else who'd ever seen it. Um, so I do think it's probably underseen.
Mm.
Underrated, I'm not sure actually, because do people, I haven't looked into the reviews, but do people rate this film? I would be amazed if they did.
It's almost, and when you look at the ratings we look at, which we'll get to in a little while, but it's critics as well as audience. So you can imagine, I can't imagine a sort of well-to-do critic of 1989 coming away being like, that was a comic masterpiece, or whatever. I mean, I really liked it, but so it's underrated, it's underseen. So that's what we reckon is. So we'll go into it then. So we'll get into the sort of structure of the podcast in a minute. Before we do, just to remind you, if you've never listened before, or to remind you if you have, we'll do what we like about it, then we'll go into what we didn't like it. But before we do that, I'm interested because as we touched on there, you're probably the person we've had on who's the most not a film person. Like, you're not exaggerating when you said you've seen about 4 films. You've seen less films than Michael Owen, which if Jamie was here, his head would be falling off. So out of interest, why do you think that is? Like, are you just more of a music person? Are you more of a TV person? Are you more of a books
Yeah.
person?
Well, for me, a book is like an analog film. So even
Yeah.
less but no thanks. No, I'm really I've always been into comedy and sitcoms, but sketch shows, TV comedy ever since I was little, which is why I found like UHF would have obviously been massively
Mm,
appealing to me. And then as I was a teenager, like you get into that thing of going to the cinema. I think I've talked about this on the pods as well, where why I don't like films is because there was this really this is actually you'll get this. There was this really bad run in the early 2000s, and maybe you like some of these films, but things like Ghost Ship, Queen of the
yeah.
Damned, The
Yeah.
Faculty. Um,
Yeah.
there was so much shite, and I was of that age around that time where I'd got like was with my first boyfriend, and we'd go to the Showcase Cinema in Darlaston, and we'd just see whatever shite film was on. So I ended up seeing like Ghost Ship, and that I saw Hollow Man at the cinema.
Mm,
And this is what put me off films is that I'd spent like sort of some of my like childhood watching things like Naked Gun, Carry-Ons. I loved Carry-Ons. Airplane, The Great Outdoors, where I have seen slightly more than 4 films. And I like Grease, The Blues Brothers, like I like musicals, where there's lots of stuff action happening. But then as I was a teenager, I started watching these films at the cinema that were all dreadful. And I fall asleep as well. Catch Me If You Can. Like that was one of the reasons I got dumped. I got dumped because I fell asleep in the middle of the
catch
start.
video if you can.
Yeah, I got dumped by my first boyfriend. Yeah, and I mean, you know, if you put me in a dark room with the telly on
Bit of
for a few
aircon.
hours, no, I can't, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've just got really sort of not good memories of seeing films. I imagine if I'd seen really good films, maybe this would have been different. But I'm
Mm.
someone who's seen the film Human Traffic 4 fucking times, and I hate that film. I don't know if you like it. I hate it. Why have I seen
I
it 4 times?
I sort of not, yeah, I sort of nothing human traffic really. I know what you mean. Like, there is almost that thing of, it does feel like there's an element of that cinema really peaked in like the late 90s with like The Matrix and Fight Club, American Beauty, things like that.
Well,
And then the 2000s came along, and it's like they went, let's just do like a couple of let's do some really bad, tasteless teen comedies and some really bad horror films because these idiots will go and see anything.
yeah, and then I mean we did like, and it was you know what you did last summer, and there'd be loads
Yeah.
of like really shitty, you know, other ones that of that sort of franchise, and then yeah, Scream. I remember seeing Scream. Scream was okay, but
Mm,
it just all felt like much of a muchness. There's American Pie as well, Road Trip, all those things.
mm,
Just did not appeal to me at all. But yeah, so things like The Matrix, for example, we were talking about this the other day with someone, and I said, I don't understand what the phrase, or I've been pretending to understand what red pill means because I've
Red
never
pill,
seen The
red pill, blue
Matrix.
pill.
Yes,
Right. Okay. Do you
there's
understand
so
it
many red.
now?
Well, I did yesterday when someone bloody explained it to me. Well,
You'll
but
never
there's,
make it in the manosphere, Ruth.
and I so want to. That's what's
I
keeping me
know.
from.
That's interesting that you said that. So I actually thought, having heard you on other podcasts and seen a lot of your stuff you've put out on social media, I thought that what might have led you to this film was actually music. Like, I actually thought that because I know you like your music, I thought, well,
Yeah.
it's Weird Al, so it's a Weird Al film. Has liking Weird Al led you to this film? But actually, it's more the comedy element, it's more the sketch comedy element that's led it to you, really.
Definitely, but I would have seen Weird Al on the telly doing his parody of Michael Jackson's Beat It when he did Eat It. I saw that. I already liked him because he was funny.
Yeah,
And the reason I ended up seeing UHF when I was I looked online when this was first shown on UK TV, and it was 1992, so I would have been 10. And it was shown at 1:45 midnight on BBC One. And the reason I ended up seeing this film is because my mum used to stay up late and watch stuff, and she started taking it off the telly because she saw it and thought, "Oh, the kids will like this," because it was
yeah,
really willy. And a couple of years before, Vic Reeves' Big Night Out had started, and I would have been about 7, and I was really into Vic and Bob. And
mm,
you totally get that sort of that completely like off the wall mental
yeah, yeah.
stuff,
Really strange.
really strange, and that
Mm,
comes through in UHF. So because Mum knew I loved Vic and Bob, she'd take it off telly, and then I was obsessed with it. I watched it the next day, and then we got the video from the library, like when it was,
mm.
and bought it for £2 from the library. So then it just became something that I watched over and over again. So it was definitely comedy, yeah, that got me. That's the reason I ended up seeing this film.
That's not too dissimilar to one of the reasons one of the ways I got into films, which is like you say, like people taping stuff off the telly. I've been on the podcast before talking about I love Bond films, and my first set of Bond films were all recorded off the telly. So even now when I watch a Bond film, I expect a pause for an advert. Like I expect, like you remember the old Quality Street adverts where they used to do make little film scenes out of Quality Street rappers or whatever. I still expect that advert, or even like Tony the Tiger playing basketball
Yeah,
or
I love.
something like that.
Do you remember as well? You used to get the little box in the top corner of the screen when the adverts just come in. Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah. It
stuff
was tell
like
it was
that?
tell it's like it was almost like the you can go and make a brew.
Yeah, get ready. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think no, that's interesting that you got that you that's how you got into it. I honestly thought it would have been through the music route. So, because would you still say now are you more of a music person than a film person, or is it all TV for you?
I'm definitely both, like really into
Yeah,
film and music. Um, yeah, definitely both. I go to loads of gigs, and I try and keep up with every new comedy that comes out. But I'm sort of fanatical about both, to probably like what people might say is a neurodivergent way, but I just think I'm just
you just like it.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
like in a very intense way. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we'll get into talking about the film then. So tell me a little bit. Obviously, you've talked a little bit how you watched this film and how you came to find this film, even though you hate films and you hate film podcasts. What is it that you
No, I
what?
just I know. What's funny is I like film podcasts. I was listening to films to be buried really years and
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
And I don't even care about films. I just thought it's interesting for me. And listen, things here's something. It's really interesting for me to hear other people talk about films. I got a mate called Stephen. Sorry, I always called Steve Stephen, and he's film books. So every time I see him, I go, "Tell me all the films you've seen. Tell me what happens." And I make him go in detail. And I go, "What's the scariest film you've ever seen?" And he'll tell me. And I go, "What's the weirdest film I've ever seen?" So I actually like it, and I like the
Yeah,
thing is, I like reading the film plot as well. I'll go on Wikipedia. So film that's come out recently, him, that one.
yeah, yeah. The Jordan Peele produced one.
Yeah. So I'll see a poster for the film, and I'll think, what's happening there? And then I'll go online, I'll read the plot, and I'll go, oh. And then that's me done for like the day.
So when I watch a film, I always read the trivia. I always read the IMDb trivia, and I'm the same. I'll read the Wikipedia to see what people said about it and things like that. I wonder if it comes from, because we talked before we recorded, we're similar ages in that idea of like we didn't grow up with the internet. So instead of being like all over TikTok, we're like, I'm just going to read IMDb because it's all there for me.
Yeah, and I think like it is a bit like reading a book, the analog film. It is about that, like because you can go and put your own idea of what the plot is. You see, if I don't go to the film, I'll just go on Wikipedia and I'll create the scenes in my mind. And usually, what happens is sometimes if the scenes in my mind are created are much scarier and weirder than when you see the film and you're like, oh, if you know.
Have you ever Mandela affected yourself with a film? Because I have.
Mandela Effect, is that a film?
No, Mandela. So the Mandela effect is that
The
idea of
butterfly effect.
no, yeah. It's where a butterfly flaps his wings. Nelson Mandela flaps his wings, and no, it's that idea of I'll probably butcher the explanation, but essentially there was a period of time where they say a load of people thought that Nelson Mandela before he died had died, and all these people believed it. So it's that thing of like, so it's like everyone thinks that certain things happen in certain films, and actually they don't.
Yeah, okay.
So for example, everyone says Darth Vader says, "No, Luke, I am your father," and he actually just says, "No, I'm your father," and things like that. But it happens
Oh,
with film plots that certain people are like, "No, that this definitely happens in this film," and you're like, "No, it doesn't. It was either cut out, or it was an advert, or you've imagined it." Like, have you ever?
okay.
It's essentially misremembering, but you never knew in the first place.
So I probably have, but I'll tell you one thing I have done, thinking about Wikipedia. A film I have watched is Dead Man's Shoes,
Yeah,
and
class.
I watched the film. What you say, hate it or you like it?
No, it's class. Love
Oh, it's
Dead Man's
class.
Shoes. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
yeah, a sort of film I would really enjoy because it's really dark. And I saw it and I really enjoyed it. And then a few years later, I couldn't quite remember it, so I went back on Wikipedia and looked it up. And someone had put something on the Wikipedia um, that was wrong, and I corrected it. I was like, that doesn't happen in the film. It's something. Oh God, I can't remember what it was, but they said they did something to his brother that they don't do. And I was like, they don't do that to him. And then I rewatched the film, and I was like, they definitely don't do that to him in the film. So I corrected it. So I've done the reverse from
You
myself.
marked Wikipedia.
Yeah, I changed it. I changed
So
it.
I had one. This is a slight spoiler. So the film A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe as John Nash. I was absolutely convinced that in that it was that John Nash is made to seem as though he has a mental illness because he thinks the FBI is spying on him. And it turns out he goes through all this mental health treatment and like essentially like mental torture. But it turns out they are watching him. That's bollocks. It's
Oh,
just that he's got.
really?
It's just that he has hallucinations because he was a real person. He had schizophrenia, so he was having hallucinations and things like that. That is a spoiler, but it's things like that. Like I'd misremembered it, and it was it's the film with Russell Crowe where everyone thinks he's mentally unwell, but he's not, and it's like no, it's just a film about a mentally unwell man.
I
Uh,
didn't know that. I didn't know it
yeah.
myself. But
So
then I've never
that's
watched
an
it.
example of the Mandela effect, which hasn't happened with UHF. So anyway, tell me about what you like about it. Is it just that it's dead funny? Because it is pretty funny.
So what I like about it, what I've always liked about it, is it is just ridiculously funny and it's very sort of snappy and it doesn't go on one scene for too long, and that's probably
No.
why it keeps my attention because you're watching it and then he goes into a dire straits, money for nothing thing about the Beverly Hillbillies, and then he
Yeah.
goes into then there's a bit more plot, like about like a 2 minutes of plot, and then he goes into a TV program, or like it's a spoof of a Gandhi film, and it's like Gandhi the Revenge, and it's all really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
With loads of little spoofs put in there. So I think I just like the fact that it doesn't keep me, it doesn't bore me. I'm not going to fall asleep in it. And it's just silly. It's just really silly and stupid. And I love Weird Al.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's so
oh
young
my
in
God,
this. He's 29.
no, his little skin's all lovely and smooth. His
Yeah.
hair's all big and curly.
Yeah. He's
But
still got his mustache.
who
Sorry, go
else
on. What
is
were you going to say?
leading it? Is Michael Richards,
Yeah,
Kramer,
yeah. Yeah, Kramer. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he is
Stanisla
great. I didn't realize it
Delco.
was him. I didn't until I started reading about it. I absolutely didn't clock it was him. I just thought it was an actor I didn't recognize.
I remember seeing Seinfeld years later, and I thought that's Stan Spadowski, who I was obsessed. And I was like, oh my god! And I was like, Mom, Stanley Spadowski on the telly. 'Cause me and Mom would watch it together all the time. Um, yeah, and it's weird. Steve. I mean, he's probably like 19 in it.
Yeah, he's young, isn't he? Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're all quite young. I mean, I sort of like I'll give you a little bit about what I thought. I thought it was really funny. I loved how stylized it was. I loved how it captured Weird Al's imagination, but also like his particular sense of humor. So even the things like obviously everyone knows him for parody songs, and there's parody songs in there. But even like it's almost like it's a cartoon meets a sketch show with a loose narrative woven through it. Like we said, it is very narratively. It's narratively weak, but I don't mean that in a negative way. As in, there just isn't that much of a narrative to it. It is a sketch show tied up in this idea of, well, what if you got your own TV station in there and things like that. But even things like there are jokes in there. Like I just absolutely laughed my head up at the Spatula City thing and
Oh
the
god, yeah.
funeral parlor thing or whatever it is, because that reminded me of like jokes that, and this is probably no coincidence, but that's reminded me of like a weird Family Guy cutaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like it's got a I think you should leave sort of vibe
Yes,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cotton Club. Spatula City, that was something when I was little I used to sing, and I thought that was when you're like, 10 years old, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Um, really good stuff. Yeah, but I'd forgotten about the funeral one as well.
With
That
all
was
the feet
cool.
sticking out the ground.
And you stick with what cut price
Yeah.
funerals.
But it is strange. It is. I mean, it is very similar to like Airplane and Naked Gun, and you can see its influence on things like Family Guy as well. I thought that was really good. I like the references as well. Like there's loads of references, a lot of Spielberg references in there. So you've got Raiders of the Lost Ark, Close Encounters,
Yeah.
things like that. I believe they tried to really, when it came out, I believe they tried to capitalize because it came out at the same time as the Last Crusade. So they tried to capitalize on the Indiana Jones opening sequence
Yeah.
and things like that. But like even that, there is there is a temptation, I think, with parody in that sense to assume it's lazy, and it has been done badly, which I've talked about many times before, where there are films sort of post Scary Movie where they just went, look, Amy Winehouse there. What's funny about it? Nothing. It's just it's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the joke? Whereas this, the attention to detail in there, I think is there, and that's how you can tell it's done with affection.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, like it's done really well. Like instead of first bit Raiders of the Lost Ark, when that very first opening of the film, where he's trying to take the Oscar off the thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, gets the family. I mean, it like I feel like there's quite a lot of budget spent on the film because
Yeah,
it looks quite good.
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, there's no point where it looks bad. Yeah, the most you'd say would be the Dire Straits video, but that's very of the time in the way that it's done. And it's a shot for shot parody of the video itself, isn't it? So
Yeah, I think I read they spent $6,000 on the film. I think that's what I read. $6,000, sorry.
they made the whole film for $6,000.
I'm sure that's what I read. And then they made like five. They didn't even break even on it. Let me just look at that. I
I'm
was
really
like,
interested.
yeah, I was like, how much did it cost to make? Sorry, 5 million.
Oh, that's still low. Like as much as I would sniff at 5 million quid, that's still low for a film of this era and of this
Yeah, it's
caliber.
5,000.
$5,000. That's maybe the catering budget.
Yeah, I read it wrong. So yeah, it was. I think it was something like $5,000, and they made million, and they like a million under for the.
Yeah, so look, we'll go back to the box office later on, but yeah, it made just over $6 million worldwide. So it didn't make that much money, but
Yeah.
so they always say with a film you take the budget and you double it for marketing, but obviously in this instance it's not like a tentpole film. It's not a big studio film, so you probably say it probably, like you say, maybe broke even at best.
And he is asked like, wow, yes, great program. 5 million. I mean, I don't know if it was worth 5 million. Well, I liked it, and you liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I really liked it. So you watched it again for this. When was the last time you watched it before then?
It probably would have been when I was about 11. So,
Oh wow, right, okay.
watched it really binged it, kept watching it, kept watching it. I don't think I've watched it since we moved out of Darlaston, which would have been 1994. So, no, yeah, 1994. So, yeah,
So
step
we've got quite a
outside.
lot of Americans and listeners in America. Do you want to tell them where Darlaston is and how much you hate people saying you're from Birmingham?
Yeah, sure, I'll tell them. So Darlaston is it's very small uh sort of town that's near a place called Warsaw.
Yeah.
Um, and there's an IKEA there.
Mhm.
There's loads of Tammy shops. There's a big Asda. I think you call them Walmarts over there.
You do, yeah, for our
Across
American
the
listeners.
pond.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's just really small. There's not that much. I mean, Slade and Led Zeppelin are from the Black Country.
they are.
But there's some sort of worldwide. I don't remember. Oh, also Black Flowers. No, sorry, that's Birmingham. I was going to say Black Sabbath, but that's Birmingham. But yeah, it's near Birmingham. The nearest city is Birmingham, and I know that we say similar, but I've got more of a broader Black Country accent.
Mm,
Birmingham's got a brilliant accent, and I don't know if you can tell, but they are different.
they are different. They are.
Mm.
They're very.
Yeah,
They're. I always feel like Birmingham's slightly slower and deeper.
it's a bit more nasal, I think, as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
both lovely though. Like
Yeah,
all the
both
accents are great.
absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely
Yeah.
GONJEUS accents. Yeah, I love GONJEUS.
Um, we'll move on then to if there's anything anything you didn't like. So that's really interesting that you watched it when you were 11, then you've watched it again now. So watching it again, is there anything you didn't like, or you're like, oh, I'm not sure about that?
Not that I didn't like, right? But here's the thing. So every time when I was little, and this is a bit of my mum's parenting style, if I was watching a film and she thought that there was something that I wouldn't like, instead of letting me see it, I mean, there were some things I saw when I was little that I should have seen that scarred me for life. But if there's
In films or just in life?
just around Darlaston, um, if there was something in a film, say for example in Ghostbusters, there's a bit in Ghostbusters that I've never ever watched because every time I was watching Ghostbusters, one of my favourite films, she would cover my eyes. When Bill Murray's in the library and he goes and there's a
Yeah.
librarian, she's quietly looking, and then whatever happens when she turns around, I don't know what happens because my mum would always cover my eyes, right? You got to the end of UHF, spoiler alert. Milo, the scientist,
Yeah.
said goodbye to he's just a normal scientist guy. Said goodbye to Al, turns around and turns into an alien. Now I have never ever seen what he looks like because every single time my mum would cover my eyes, and then when I was watching it when I was on my own, when he turns around, I would always cover my eyes. So I was like, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to say. So I was still a bit too scared to watch it. And then I went to look at the still on YouTube of what he looked like. So I was like, oh, I don't be scared. And I looked at it and I thought, no, I actually do still think that I would be scared. And I think I'm scared now. So what I don't like is the fact that he turns into an alien and then he looks a bit scary.
So almost like a learned behaviour, that, isn't it? So you've never seen the librarian ghost in Ghostbusters?
No, never.
That's wild. So if it's
Yeah.
on now, you just turn away.
I go like that, yeah. Sorry for the listeners. I've just put my hands there.
That's like the Manchurian. That's like the Manchurian Candidate or something. Like someone says the right combination of words.
Is that another film?
Sorry, the Manchurian Candidate is the one where it's like, like sleeper agents. You know that idea of like you say a certain set of words and then someone goes and kills the president because they were trained and it's been inserted in their brain, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's learned behaviours. And I'll tell you what, Mum, it's doing me no favours.
Come on, Ruth's mum.
No, she was doing what she thought she was doing. She was doing what she thought was best.
I just used to get told if there was swearing and stuff in it, yes, you can watch it, but don't repeat any of it.
Yeah. Well, I can like one of the first films I ever saw as well. Maybe even I'll say it's the first film I ever saw is Fatal Attraction, and I would have been about 4.
Reasonable age to watch Fatal Attraction, yeah.
Right, just pop it on a Sunday afternoon.
You've had your roast. You're gonna watch a rabbit get murdered now.
Do a bit of colouring in.
Yeah.
You
got your hair in a towel. School's tomorrow.
But you say that? But that when my hair in a towel and school was tomorrow. That's when I was watching Island Pace. That's Sunday night.
That's true. Yeah.
So I remember being really little. Mum and Dad were still together, so I was really little, and they were watching. They'd had it from the video shop, Fatal Attraction, So there's a bit in Faith Attraction where Michael Douglas gets Glenn Close. Glenn Close in
Yeah,
it.
that's right. Yeah.
Right. You're good to I'm handy. I'm talking about films because you can tell me you're like, no, it's Meryl Streep. I always get
Yeah.
the confused. And he gets to like by the sink and he gets a tit out, right? And it was probably the first time I've seen a tit on the telly. And
Yeah.
for some reason, my negligent parents were just had a little baby sat me watching it on the telly, and the tit pops out, and I turned around to mum and dad and was like, and mum went, "You should leave me watching it." And I thought, sorry, you're the parents, and if memory serves, I am 3. I'm 3 why are you letting me watch this? Why are you letting it go at me?
That's not even the worst bit of Fatal Attraction.
Oh no, because when the rabbit was in the pot, mum was like that. Like,
Yeah. So you've never seen a rabbit boiling on a pot before, then?
Never seen the rabbit. So the very funny boiler, I had to find out what that meant.
No idea what that means. Like red pill.
don't.
What's that mean? They could be the same pill. They could be the same thing, couldn't they? Red pill and bunny boiler.
The red pilled bunny boiler. The naked pervert. All these things. I don't know what they are.
I really struggled to find anything I didn't like with this. There's one thing I will say is I could see how it would be too silly for some people, but then that's just saying comedy's subjective because it is. So that's really difficult. I suppose there is a bit where he browns up as Gandhi. So I suppose objectively you should say that has aged quite poorly.
Yes, and also there's the bit where he has the karate class where they're in the supplies cupboard.
Yeah, and it's surprise.
They jump out and say surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dad joke that is. But other than that, the only thing I'd say is he starts with a best mate, and that best mate just kind of disappear a little bit. I thought he was going to be in it more, and first I also thought it was played by David Bowie, but it's not. It's David Bowie.
Oh my God! So when I saw the credits, I thought I do not remember David Bowie being in this film.
Yeah.
And all the way through, I was looking for him, and I thought, maybe he's one of the telethon acts, like.
Yeah, or like he's got a cameo at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to the critical reception then. So again, if you've not listened before, or just to remind you, we're going to talk about the IMDb score, then both Rotten Tomatoes scores, and then we're going to average it out and have a little bit of a chat about the box office. Again, to remind you, Ruth has picked this because she thinks it's both underrated and underseen. So, how do you think it did in terms of the scores? Like,
how do I, in terms of, I think it was probably panned.
Probably panned.
Yeah. I think people thought it was like it was silly. I don't think people got behind it, but I think now it's become a bit of a cult classic. But
it does have a bit of a cult following. Yeah, it does have a bit of a cult following. I saw that when I was reading about it. How would you score it? Would you sort of give it, like, you don't have to be exact, but would you give it 7, 8, 9, 10? Would you give it 10 out of 10?
This is an overall score for if I think this is a good film.
Yeah.
I would give it a. Having rewatched it when I was a child, 10. You know, now as an adult, I'd probably say I'll give it a 7.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised then. So, looking at the scores, and at the time of recording, IMDb gives it 6.9 out of 10.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes, the audience give it 78%, but the critics give it 64%, which is higher than I thought for the critics. I thought we'd be talking like 40s and 50s for the critics. I thought they'd hate this, but actually, a lot of them seem to have liked it. So it averages out at 7, either 7 out of 10 or 70%, depending on how you want to look at it. What do you think? Is that fair, or is it still underrated?
I think that's definitely fair. I think that's good. Yeah, that's better than I thought it would be. And I thought I'd only be giving it such a high mark because I like really silly stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it felt like when I was a child, it had been made just for me. But I love that more people have given it a higher rating. That's a nice surprise.
There you go. And then box office wise, as we already touched on, it made $6 million worldwide on a budget of you said $5,000, but $5 million quid.
It made $6,000.
And it made $6,000. Yeah. It was like a shit accumulator or something like that. But no, it made $6 million quid worthwhile. Now, as we said before, wouldn't sniff at $6 million quid. But if you look about who's in it and the fact that it's a Weird Al film, it's not that much. That's not that high. So, and I don't know if many people, apart from those who already like it and already fans of his, are seeking it out now.
I don't know any Weird Al fans as well. I don't know whether your American audience will. Do we have many, the more fans that live in America? Because in the UK, I don't know any Weird
No,
Al
he's
fans.
not like people know who he is because they know, like you say, like they know Just Eat It and whatever. I can't remember what the Backstreet did he do a Backstreet Boys one? But yeah, he's done a lot of stuff, and obviously there's the Daniel Radcliffe film he made a couple of years ago and things like that, and he has made other films. But yeah, I think that I would say that's underseen. I think it is underseen. I think there's plenty of people who would like it now. If you split this up into 50 parts and put it on TikTok, it would have quite a lot of fans, I think.
Yeah, because it really would lend itself well, like I said, with all of the different different sketches and parodies in. I should start clipping it up and putting it on. I wonder if anybody else has done that.
Yeah.
Because I something like Spatula City.
Yeah.
I think lots of people would find that really funny.
Yeah, they either find it funny or think it was real. depending on who they were. So I think we can say it's fairly appropriately rated, but underseen. Would you say?
Definitely underseen. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming on and talking to us about UHF. Tell the guys at home, what have you got going on? Where can they check out your stuff?
You can go to my Twitter, which is my name is Ruth Husko, but my Twitter is @bank_Ackroyd. Like the actor Dan Aykroyd, actually, from one of my favourite films, The Blues Brothers. And
Ghostbusters.
Because he loved Ghostbusters. And the second one, I think the sequel was really good as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're not talking about it. And so go to my Twitter and follow me, or you can follow me on Instagram, although it is a private account, but if I think you're okay, you can follow my Instagram. I'm also on TikTok as Dan Aykroyd or Rufus Fair, one of them. You'll find me on there. And then what am I doing? I'm currently a contract writer for the BBC Studios, writing comedy. I'm working on the news group at the minute, and I'll be writing stuff and making my own stuff. So look out for that. I'll be posting about it, and I'm going to be on a panel in December with the British Comedy Guide exhibition. I'll tell you what date it is. Hold on. I think it's the 6th of December. Hang on. Oh yeah, it's the 6th of December, and I'm going to be on a panel just talking about how I got into writing, because I'm someone who doesn't come from that kind of background at all, and just how you can get those opportunities and how I've done it and my advice on that. Don't worry, it's not just me. There'll be other experts on there. I'm just a fucking gobshite, excuse me. But you know what? I ain't done too bad so far.
No, not at all. And now you're on this,
which is obviously which is
what everyone wants to be.
Come on, guys, you can feel like.
But no, listen, thank you very much for coming on and talking to us about UHF. We'll put all links to Ruth's stuff, to her Twitter and Instagram and all that in the show notes. Do check out her stuff. As I said in the intro, one of the top followers if you're looking for good social media, consistent social media laughs, then Ruth's your gal. So do check her out. Thanks very much for coming on, Ruth.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. Do
So there we go, another episode in the bag. Talking to Ruth about UHF. It was an absolute pleasure and a privilege. Really good to chat to her. I've followed Ruth for a while and wanted to speak to her. She's been on my list for this podcast for, it's not exaggerating to say, a good few years, and I'm glad we finally got round to getting it in the diary. Loved the film as well, really good. Like, as we touched on in the episode, it's just pure comedy. There's, like, if you're looking for substance and narrative or anything like that, themes, there is none. But if you want to have a laugh, you want to watch some wacky, Weird Al style comedy, if you like Naked Gun, if you like Airplane, Kentucky Fried Movie, even things like Scary Movie, you'll probably like this. So do give it a watch. We'll be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, if you'd like to get in touch with us, it's filmsandthatpod@gmail.com. We're on all the social medias as well. Search for Just Films and That on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and you'll find us. Give Ruth a follow as well. All of her stuff will be in the show notes. And if you do get the time, if you could head on over to whatever app you're listening to this on and give us a rating and review, we'd really appreciate it, because it helps other people find us, and it's just nice to get your feedback. All that remains to be said then is we'll be back next week. It's goodbye from me. Thank you for listening, and thanks again to Ruth. Goodbye. Cheerio.